welcome. All the links to the products I am using today will be in the description below. If at any point the speed is too fast, just click on the instructional video for directions on how to slow it down. Today I will be making this tray using a round wood board that I have taken outside, and I'm using a torch to highlight the areas on the piece of wood that I want to have that deeper look. I primarily concentrated on the white areas of the wood as I was doing this, and I just continued to pick it up and look at it and see if I liked where the design was at this point, and would continue burning. Some areas I felt needed a little bit darker look to them, so I would go back over those just to increase the intensity of the burn in certain areas. But you just want to keep burning the wood until you get to the desired look that you're going for. Once you finish burning the wood, you want to wipe it down with some type of cloth while you're outside, just to get that initial ash off. And then I brought the piece of wood inside, and I used a 120 grit piece of sandpaper just to lightly sand the top, just to smooth it out. I also went around all of the edges as well. Again, just to make sure that the actual wood had gotten smoothed. Then I took a paper towel and I spritzed it with some isopropyl alcohol, some denatured alcohol, and I wiped that down around all over the top several times, as well as around all of the edges. Once I finished with that, I got some glaze and some brown mica, and I just mixed those together, and I used a paintbrush to apply that to the wood surface, and I wound up doing a couple of coats of this. The great thing with glaze is usually within minutes of you applying it, you can go back over it again. It does dry pretty quickly. So I did put about 2 to 3 coats of just brown tinted glaze across the entire surface of the round board. Once I was done, I wasn't sure, did I want to make this a table, a clock? I mean, there were so many different things that I could do with it, but I did decide to go ahead and make it into a tray. So once I completed all of the staining, I then cut out the word gather on my Cricut using some gold vinyl, the metallic gold vinyl, and I then applied that to the surface of the wood. It's not necessary. In hindsight, I probably would have preferred not having done that, but it's what I decided and chose at the time. So you have the option of doing so, or just leaving it plain and allowing it to, look more natural. So you just want to continue applying the glaze until you reach the color depth that you're looking for, and allow that to dry per the manufacturer's instructions. Again, with glaze, it usually only takes a few minutes for it to dry. But before I applied this, I did let it sit for a few hours just to make sure it really took. And so here I am applying that word gather that I spoke of before. And then I mixed about 14 ounces of resin. This is a pretty large size piece of wood. So I mixed the 14 ounces of resin, and then I just slowly applied that to the surface and used a regular everyday comb just to push that around the edges to the point that I wanted them. One thing I did not video on here that you do want to make sure that you do is that you tape the back of this with some masking tape, because otherwise you're going to have a mess on your hands. And make sure you run your hand around the edges too if you'd like to have that resin look around the sides. I then spritzed it with some isopropyl alcohol just to make sure that there wouldn't be any bubbles. Then once it was cured, I put handles on. This was a lot trickier than I thought it would be, but I did eventually get it right. I had to actually bore out a little on the back because I didn't want the screws to be visible. So once I actually did the first drill hole, I then went back with a little larger drill hole just to bore a little bit of a bigger hole so it would have a way to go into the wood and not stick out. And once I finished applying the handles, although I was able to recess the screws quite a bit, I did not like seeing that hole. So I did put these little round wood look stickers, which of course you cannot find the same exact color as what you had actually done, because I did eventually glaze the back of the tray as well. So I decided to go ahead and put those on, and then I mixed the same exact color that I used to glaze the back of the tray, and I went over the stickers a little. That is not necessary. It was really me being anal retentive more so than anything. So totally not necessary. But I did apply that, allowed that to dry, and then I was complete. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, share, and press the bell to be alerted to future videos.